afternoon, folks. Big Bo with RVs with Big Bo at Parkway RV Center. Got something I hadn't done in a while. That's a back row bargains Class C motorhome, guys. And this is actually a pretty decent one for the price and a great brand, too. This is the 2001 Winnebago Minnie Winnie 31C. It's a back row bargains for $19,900. It's got a slide out. Very nice one. We bought it here locally, a little town called Harrison, Tennessee. I went and picked this one up myself. Drove it about 30 miles back. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, it has been sitting for about 3.5 years before we got it. But it's been sitting. The tires were covered up. Been sitting in a driveway. Everything looks pretty good. I mean, you got a few little issues with it. Of course, that's why we're selling it back row bargains, the age and the price. And I normally don't buy back row bargains units. I normally trade for them, but I don't go out of my way to buy them. But the situation on this one here kind of tugged at my heart a little bit. So I kind of helped a lady out that had this, and she had tried to sell it herself and got scammed out of $1,500 out of one of those, sight unseen, where they send you a cashier's check for more than your sales amount, and they ask you to Western Union the difference to a shipper so they can send it to your house to get it. Of course, 2 weeks later, your bank catches it's a fake cashier's check. They call you back. You've already sent the shipper $1,500 on Western Union. It's gone. It's done. Nothing you can do about it. You can't get it back. So that's what happened to this lady. So she came in here wanting to sell it. Told me the situation. Husband passed away about 3.5 years ago, and just been sitting ever since. So I bought it, went up to her house and got it, me and one of my shop guys, and we got it. It cranked up and fired right up and ran great. And brought it here, cleaned it up, got it for sale. Now I am running it on my generator for a reason. The generator does run for a few seconds on this motorhome, but the fuel has been in the carburetor for 3.5 years. It's gummed up. You know, if I had a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours to spare to mess with it, I'd take it out, soak it real good, clean out the carburetor. It'd probably run like a champ. But that old gas in that carburetor gums it up. It won't run very long. But it's not locked up or anything like that. It runs. Somebody's either going to have to clean it out or replace carburetor, and the generator should be fine. It's only got 300 something hours on it. Motorhome's got 53,000 miles on it. Ford V10. Running and driving, it did great. Now it's been sitting for 3.5 years, so you've got what they call flat spots on the tires where it's set for that long, and they got better the more I drove it. It got better, but when you first drive it, it's going to be kind of a bumpy ride, but the further you drive it, the smoother it's going to get as those flat spots get, as they work their way out. And that's because you had all this weight sitting on these 16-inch tires for that many years without being moved. But it is a fiberglass roof, so leak-wise, you don't really have much to worry about there. And of course, guys, and I'm trying to say this as sensitive as possible, I don't get this, and maybe some of my older viewers can kind of tell me something about this in the comments. She was an older lady. She was from that generation that thinks that the genitalia between your legs dictates whether you can drive an RV or not. And I'm trying not to be insensitive, but I never understood what testosterone and estrogen has got to do with the ability to put something in gear and look out mirrors and keep it between the lines and drive an RV. I never understood that, because when I was growing up, my grandmother, my aunts, my mom could drive RVs just as good as any man could. I don't understand what your gender has got to do with the ability to drive and use an RV. But again, maybe somebody can enlighten me in the comments about that. I never once understood that, and I've heard that so many times over the years and decades. I mean, I can't tell you when I was in sales how many times I was asked, do you have any RVs a woman can drive? I've got a lot full of them. You can drive as anything a man can drive. These don't require any special skills that a man has that a woman doesn't, or vice versa. I mean, I never understood that, but hey, what do I know, right? Not trying to turn nobody off. Maybe somebody can enlighten me in the comments. Maybe it's just a generation, the way some of y'all was raised. I don't know. I don't get it. But anyway, that was my rant. But anyway, that was kind of a shame because just let this thing sit like that. But all in all, this is actually a really clean motorhome, and I'm not gonna lie, I had thoughts of buying it myself and fixing it up and reselling it for a profit, but I just don't have time. 20 years ago, I'd have been all over this myself and just to fix it up and sell it for a profit. But let's look inside. The original carpet, it looks great. Motorhome runs and drives great, shifts good, brakes feel good after it's set for so long. Like most Fords from this era that sits that long a time, it does have an ABS brake light on. But, you know, that's any motorhome that sets that long a time between use. Them sensors just get kind of froze up a little bit and it sets off a reading. I mean, the brakes felt great. Radio works great. Backup camera works great. Seats look great. Carpets look great. You do have the optional cab over. Flat screen TV, VCR, DVD player. I mean, this is a nice old motorhome, guys. Very well built. It's a one-piece fiberglass roof. Winnebago makes their own frames. I mean, this far is the best, one of the better built C-classes of the era. This is definitely it. If this had been any other brand, I probably wouldn't have bought it. You do have a table booth that makes a bed so it sleeps 6. Everything's solid as a rock. Carpeted headliner. It's got the ducted roof air. All the books and manuals are in it. Got a 15,000 BTU ducted roof air. Now, I haven't got it on, but when my cleaning crew was in here, they had it plugged into shore power and they had the AC on, so I know it works. But now you can check it out yourself. Just a quick reminder, guys, because I've got it specially priced for a back row bargain, I'm not making a ton of money on this thing. In fact, I'm hardly making anything at all on it compared to other units, but I do, because of that, I do sell them 100% as is. And what I do is, you know, I'll allow you to come out and inspect it for yourself, or you're welcome to hire a third-party inspection service if you want to. We'll hook it into shore power or a bigger generator and let you turn everything on, see what works, what doesn't, before deciding to buy it or not buy it based on the information and what you discover works and doesn't work. People had just traveled. They had retired. Her and her husband had traveled all over the U.S. in this thing. They had done a lot of traveling in it. So, you know, before he passed away, it was well used. So it wasn't just something they bought and he passed away and they never got to use. They did get to enjoy it, which is pretty awesome to me, because she was a really nice lady. I just felt bad that she got one of those scumbag scammers got her for that money. But really be careful, guys, when you advertise and try to sell something yourself. At one time, because I used to mess with these scammers just as a hobby back, I had a whole drawer. I probably had 30 or 40 fake cashier's checks that I knew they were scammers from the very first time they emailed us. And I used to just go ahead and go through the motions with them just to get them to go through the trouble of mailing me a check, a fake cashier's check, and I'd throw it in the drawer with the rest. I said, heck, if those were real, I could retire off the fake cashier's checks that I got. So be very, very careful, guys. There's a lot of scams out there when you try to sell something yourself for sale by owner. We do buy RVs, guys. This is normally something I wouldn't buy, but considering the situation, I made an exception. And I'm going to turn around and just sell it to y'all for, I mean, guys, I'm probably not going to make $1,500 on this thing by the time I sell it for $19,900 and all that. So I'm not getting rich off this thing by no means. I'm just helping somebody out and turning a little bit of inventory. So 3-burner stovetop looks great. Got a microwave, it works. Refrigerator, freezer is actually in good shape, and there's some paper in there. And actually, it's getting cold. Cool, literally. Split bathroom. Now it is a little bit yellow in here. They did not have a cover on the roof, but it's a fiberglass roof, but it has bleached the shower walls yellow from the UV rays coming from the skylight. No smoke or pet odors in here either. All that looks good in here. Queen bed in the back bedroom. Small TV, another old school VCR, DVD player. Really nice one, guys. Really nice one. For 19.9 especially. I mean, it's just a really cool RV. And like I said, the wallpaper border's not peeling. I mean, a lot of potential here. And don't get me wrong, that generator is not going to take much at all for it to run, because the motor's not locked up, which is the main thing. Anytime you look at a generator that's not running, if it turns over, if the motor turns over, it means it's not locked up. That's the major thing. You know, the only other major thing it could be like a fuel pump or a carburetor or something like that, and that's minor compared to a locked up motor on your generator. So, but that's all I really know about it, guys, just from driving it, talking to the previous owner. And she did claim the generator, and I mean, everything worked when they parked it before he passed away. So as far as I know, you know, you can come look at it yourself, inspect it yourself, see what works, what doesn't. That's the point of an as-is unit, guys. You know, we got it specially priced to, we don't have to fool with it. Now, if you want to pay us $29.9, we'll do an inspection on it, but I don't have it priced that way. I've got it priced for $19.9 just for a quick flip. As is, special, back row bargain. What you see is what you get. You get the good with the bad. You know, what you can spend a little bit of money on this, have a nice RV for thousands less. I mean, it's a $30,000 motorhome if everything was fixed up and perfect on it. But you're buying it for under 20, especially right now in the current market. Class C's are very, very hot. Very hot. Y'all may have noticed, guys, but pretty much all we're buying now is Class C's and travel trailers. That's what everybody wants right now with gas prices, and Class B's. That's all we're buying. We pretty much quit buying Class A's just because of that. I mean, we're still selling a few Class A's, but right now the market is exploding with Class C's and travel trailers. People buying these things because that's what they want. And this is a well-built one. Like I said, as far as the early 2000s, this was the brand to get. Still one of the best brands today, but back then they were really one of the best brands. 19.9, haggle-free firm. I don't care how you pay for it. Of course, guys, keep in mind this is a 2001, so I don't have financing available on an RV that's 22 years old. You'll have to go to your bank or credit union if you need financing, or pay cash or trade. I don't care how you pay for it, guys, but that's the price, no matter how you pay for it. If you're interested in it, give us a call at 706-965-7929. And let us know what you think about it. You can smash me a thumbs up. Feel free to comment, share on social media. And pretty nice one, guys. 31C. It's 31 feet 4 inches long, I think, total length with a slide. Thanks y'all so much. Like I said, I don't think this one's going to last long. This is a good quality unit for that price. And it's getting hard to find travel trailers for under 20 grand, much less a fully self-contained motorhome. So here it is. And thank y'all so much for watching. If you've got questions about it, one of my salespeople will be glad to help you. Like I said, I've driven this coach. I know it runs good. Besides the tires, got those flat spots, which, hey, I'm honest with you guys. I'm not going to lie to you. Those did get a lot better after I drove it, because like I said, it's set for 3.5 years. Do I think it needs new tires? That's up to you. 16-inch tires are not that expensive compared to other size RV tires. I think I put Firestones on mine last year, my 16-inch on my Dynamax, and it was like $1,200 for 6 of them installed. So they're not that big of expense compared to what other things you can spend on an RV. especially when you compare them to like 22.5s, where you can spend $3,000 and $4,000 on a set of tires on one of those, like the big Class A diesels and stuff like that, or more. So, you know, 16-inch tires, as far as motorhome tires are concerned, these are probably one of the least expensive tires that you can buy size-wise for an RV. And do I think it needs tires? Well, before I replace the tires on it, because they're not really that old, I think they're 5-6 years old. They bought them when they bought the coach, but they still got plenty of tread. They've had the tire guards on them. You know, I usually don't replace tires till they get around 10 years old, unless they're weather cracking or something like, they got uneven tire wear, something like that. And I know, oh, you're supposed to replace them every 5 years. Let me tell you something, guys. If the tires are good, you don't have to replace them every 5 years. That's something that tire dealers came up with to sell more tires. The only time I replace tires is they get around 10, 11 years old, and if they start showing signs of weather cracking, like cracks in the sidewall and stuff like that. When I've got an 05 Dynamax, and it still had 2 Michelin tires on it that were OEM. From brand new, from back in 05, still on it. Now, granted, they were cracking. They were on the inside. They were starting to crack. They were on the inside of the rear dualies. Still holding air. And I looked at the date codes on it. I couldn't believe it. Neither could the tire guys. But, and the only reason I changed them, because the rest of the tires on it were from 2009. So, like I said, you know, you be your own judge on that. You know, like I said, 16-inch tires are relatively inexpensive. If you feel safer putting new tires on it, by all means, put 6 new tires on. There's a tire store next door that does RV tires, pretty reasonable. That's where I have all mine done. You might want to check with them, get you a price. But like I said, they're not much for 16-inch. But if it was me, I would drive them home with the tires that are on it, see if they smooth out, see what I thought about them, and you know, after I drove it home, if I feel like it needed new tires, I'd go ahead and get a set of tires put on it. No big deal. But 19.9 haggle-free firm, as is, where is. What you see is what you get. Come out and take a look at it. Thanks again for watching. Hit that subscribe button, and look forward to seeing you here in beautiful Ringgold, Georgia.